Folks, this is the do not try this at home video with Jason Killmer.
Are you ready to not do this at home?
I am ready to learn sanding from the Sandman himself, the Riddler Pebble Beach Award winner. If folks don't know who you are, you teach high level polishing and sanding because you've won all the major awards. This is
most of them, yeah.
Most of them,
yeah.
I'm overdoing it a little bit.
All right.
I'm overly excited.
That's all right.
Because, you know, when Ivan is away, Nick will play. So this is outside of the DIY system. This is advanced wet sanding. You've got these awesome blocks here, and you're here to sort of teach us like how you would teach someone who's out there saying, I love the DIY system, gold standard polish, your pads, but I wanna try some things.
Try something new.
Something new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want this to be like I'm coming to your training, and you're teaching me when to sand, why to sand, and how to sand.
Yeah. Yeah. So first of all, this is a junkyard hood. And I always suggest, if you want to learn this upper level craft, and we're talking many levels up from currently where your system is, there's a time and a place to sand, and there's a time and a place not to sand. The thing I like about sanding is you have full control with something like this every pass. So make every pass count, be slow, be cautious, have fun with it, and then, you know, learn the craft.
When would somebody want to sand, if at all?
Typically, you sand in a body shop. That's where the sanding really comes into play, where a panel is painted on an OEM level. You have a speck of dirt or something, where we take a tiny block and we just nib that piece of dirt out. There's either a piece of dirt right there or a high spot. And we remove that and then just do a quick buff. And then the other side of the coin is show car level, classic car restoration, where it's freshly painted and we take different blocks like this and sand the orange peel out to get the best reflectivity that we can. Because on an orange peeled surface, we can only get it so shiny. When it's coated or waxed or whatever, protected, we can only get so much shine because of how the light refracts on an orange peel surface. The light bounces off in different directions. When it's sanded smoother than what you currently have, it becomes shinier.
And that's why you sand, because you have all that clear coat to work with on these cars that are coming out of the body shop.
Yes.
These award-winning vehicles you're working on. So, junkyard hood is a great place to practice because modern day clear coat is so thin.
OEM is not the place to practice on.
OEM is original
equipment manufacturer, yes.
Yeah, the kind of vehicle you'd buy at the dealership, and then there's a big scratch, and then the customer, maybe you're a DIYer, you're a weekend warrior, you want to become a weekend detailer, right? You're kind of inching toward that. A lot of people end up doing this as a side hustle or whatever. They may want to try sanding out. So just to quickly humble them and scare them real quick, would you ever sand OEM paint?
You have to be very cautious because if you burn through or you thin it out, then it's a respray. Unfortunately, with the newer paint systems, with the amount of pearls and stuff, it's not just painting that panel, it's a painting the adjacent panels around it to match the color. So it's risky business, but it's pretty darn rewarding.
It's rewarding. You can become a hero or a zero.
Or zero.
But a lot of people out there say, okay, I get the risk, I still want to try it. We're saying don't try this at home. But if you want to take a class with Jason, I'm going to try to be you. And just, you know, with that beginner mindset, where do we start?
Okay, so these are blocks right here, different sizes and shapes. This is basically a acrylic core with no flexibility. And then as we move on down, we have a block with a firm core, but it has flex.
So like you got sandpaper in our rinseless wash here. This is what sandpaper looks like. You don't just do this, right? We're wrapping this around the blocks. So I just want to give a sense of the blocks that we're talking about here.
So what I like to do is if we have a localized area, I like to take each block and just kind of run it over the surface. I just kind of want to get a feel of that surface. And if it feels smooth, I want full contact patch under the area. So that might be something with a little bit of flex to it. Might be the way to go.
Because like even with this firmer one, I feel a contact patch in the middle. I don't feel like I really have control over on the outside.
That means it's not touching, yeah.
So trust kind of that, and this is a real floppy.
It's just merely a piece of foam. So actually this is from the craft store, actually, that I've cut up and shaped just by hand. So, if we have a scratch or something that we want to get out, and we don't have a custom block per se, we have the ability to improve it. And that's my motto, sand to improve, not to remove.
Sand to improve, not remove. If folks want to reach out to you about these blocks, you're available, Jason Killmer with 2 L's on Instagram.
2 L's. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So if you have more questions, shoot him a DM, but that gives you a sense of it. So how am I going to know what a contact patch feels like on this paint? I mean, I can actually...
You can feel a little bit if we...
Do I want it wet a little bit?
Wet, yeah,
okay.
Wet surface.
Okay, so that I feel it right in the center and a little bit on the edges, not as much control. This one feels pretty good, but it's real thin.
It's real thin.
But I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
A little more control.
And then this one is softer.
Yep.
Yeah, and I can kind of, I kind of
flex.
I do feel it everywhere.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know how to choose.
And as you go, firmer, it becomes a little more difficult.
Totally.
It's like training wheels, and then it goes up the ladder of full race car. So
you recommend a softer pad
just
for
to
beginners?
just to get the idea of it. Another way to practice sanding is try headlights. Try headlights. Start from there. Start even because most older cars with plastic headlights, they fade and the protection burns off or wears off. We want to sand all that off or improve it. That's a good way to practice as well.
What block would you recommend for headlights?
Just a small block, something like this, a little more manageable. Something like this or maybe smaller is what I would recommend for headlights.
And then what grit would you recommend for headlights?
That all depends on how bad the severity is. Sometimes you have to go pretty low. Sometimes you can just use a little bit of 3,000 or 5,000, which is a very high grit. The higher the grit, the higher the number, the higher the grit. The lower the grit, the more aggressive it is.
Yeah, so 800 grit would be like crazy on paint. I know you've gone as low as what, 160 or something?
180.
180, something ridiculous.
It was a very bad paint defect that we had to get out.
Okay, but I think one place to start for a lot of people would be 3,000 grit.
3,000 is a good practice.
It's a good practice, yeah. And then, because that's not as aggressive.
Exactly.
Like I've done 1,500 before, and that feels like that's a big boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's aggressive. Anyway, all right. So I've got a feel for my blocks. I like them all.
Okay.
But I like the firm one the least.
Okay. Yep. And that's by nature. It's scary. It's like I said. This is a big boy block, and it's firm and it's hard, and it doesn't have any give to it. So it's intimidating. So the smaller the block, usually the more control you have as starting out the sanding journey.
Okay. Good to know. All right. I think that having some experience sanding, I know with a firm block, it's easy to dig. It's easy to make a pass where you dig real hard in there with the paper around it, and you don't even realize it until you try to get it out, and you're like, that's in there deep. Mm-hmm. So that's why I feel like firm is a little bit scarier to me. Yeah.
So let's try middle of the road right here. Let's try this.
Okay.
And we'll take some 2,000 grit here. This is just, and I had it soaking. And the reason we soak the paper is it softens up the latex on the back of the paper and the front of the paper. So paper in general, as it comes out of sleeve, is kind of stiff and hard. And so this actually kind of makes it pliable.
What brand? I see Hercules. Is that?
This is just a general brand. I think the Hercules brand is like Harbor Freight. But, you know, stick with the highest level of sandpaper that you can afford. It comes in all different varies of prices, but there's some pretty good brands out there.
People are going to ask, what do you recommend? Because you're Jason Killmer.
Yeah, 3M, Sunmite, Mirka, any of those brands are really good. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So do you want to sand, or you want me to try to go for it first and just watch me?
Whatever you think is helpful for folks out there.
I'll take a couple passes.
Okay.
Okay. Usually have a spray bottle, but we're not going to use a spray bottle.
Can I point something out?
Yeah.
Already I see right here that where you've placed the block. You didn't place it here.
Nope.
You didn't place it right on the edge. You put it in. I just noticed that. Is that, can you point out what that significance is?
Well, what that's doing is it's, you know, all these are custom made, and I tried to get all the sharp edges off. That's key because we don't want to dig in.
Okay.
That's what we don't want. Don't press on the block. We're not using our hand. We're just real couple light passes. You ready?
Where's the pressure? Like where?
I'm just supporting the block. I'm barely putting. And I'm going to stop when I start to see a little bit milky slurry. You can hear it. Hear that pitch? Just a nice even pass. Nothing crazy out of the normal. See, I'm starting to get a little white milky slurry. That's the clear coat. Do we have a towel by any chance?
Towel. Well, that's a pro move right there.
Yeah.
What was that little guy?
A little squeegee effect.
A little squeegee?
Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't hear the pitch. I have no idea what you're talking about. So when you say that, that was like...
As you can see, we're starting to take the peaks and go slight into the valleys. See, where it's shiny,
I see the lines, and then I see like it looks like cloudy snow, something.
Yeah. So we want an even, consistent pattern. We don't have that quite yet.
You want this to look like, everything to look like itself.
Is even. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So what we're going to do is continue for a couple more passes. And it's really just a feel thing of what I'm feeling through my hand. Okay, we'll wipe that off.
Are you just relaxed because it's a hood from the body shop, or are you as focused doing this as you are on a show car? I mean, there's probably
focused.
You're focused.
Totally focused.
This is what you do. This is you're in your element.
I'm in my element. I'm in my zone. And
okay.
When we do show cars, sometimes we're under the gun as far as time wise. So I'm still in my zone. It looks like I'm very radical, but I'm very precise on what I'm doing.
I see a very even pattern. I don't know what we can see on camera. Yeah. But I do see a pretty even pattern into here.
Yeah, so that was my focal point, and then I worked out. So out here, so if I wanted to continue, I would start from like here and concentrate on there. So it's a very small segment of where my focus is. It's to do this takes a lot of time to do it right and do it effectively and efficiently.
So this area into here, we've made quite even.
Yeah.
And then, okay, I see you've done it.
Yeah. Do you want to try 3,000?
So 3,000 to get rid of these?
Yes.
Okay, yep. Yes. Okay. Am I using this block?
Yeah, let's just continue with that block. We have sandpaper, which is actually paper. And then this wonderful technology is, this is particular 3M. This is called the Trizac disc. So it's actually, my understanding is it's 3D printed, abrasive. So this technology is meant for a DA, but we're going to use it by hand, just for control purposes. But this is meant to go in the peaks. We've taken out the peaks and the valleys here. But this technology is meant to go in the peaks and valleys, remove a scratch without removing those peaks and valleys.
So you wouldn't be going after orange peel with 3000 grit?
This can clear it up, clear some of that texture up, but not to this level. It's just not designed in the technology.
Yeah, one interesting thing is like, if you have a scratch so bad that you're ready to take it to the body shop and get it repainted, that may be an opportunity for a DIYer who's like, I know I'm gonna have a bill coming. Maybe this whole, sanding thing is something I could try at home. So try the junkyard hood first, practice on that, but like, you could be the hero that removes the bike scratch, from your
Or you could
door.
be the zero.
Yeah. But it was headed to the body shop anyway, right?
So same process.
You've got this wet. You're not going dry with the Trizec.
Yeah. And it has that backing interface material, so there's a little bit of cushion here.
Interface. So when you're looking at this, there's no interface at all. It's just paper.
It's just paper. And that has a foam type of interface on it.
Behind the actual sandpaper. Yeah, which adds cushion, which means it's less aggressive.
Yes, essentially. Yeah.
Although you could have that foam backing on really aggressive paper too. So
Yes, you can.
It's just part of the.
So it's the same type of movement. So I'll have you continue.
Question.
Okay.
This is my leading corner. Am I pushing that forward, or what am I?
We'll slide it forward and try to just like you're claying a vehicle.
Okay, because for me, I'm always corner first. No.
Don't push, don't dig. Try to just guide the block.
Just like straight forward?
Not straight forward, more of a slight angle. So we want to come. It's just a quick, very small movements. There you go.
I feel like I'm losing control of this over the block. How tightly do I hold everything?
Not super tight.
Okay.
Not super tight.
But tight enough to keep the paper around the block?
Exactly. Just barely.
How long does it take to develop a feel? Because I can tell this is a feel thing.
A very long time.
A very long time. Okay. So good luck, folks. So slight angle, like this corner is a slightly leading
slight
me?
angle off. Yep. Okay, close your eyes. Just feel the surface. How does that feel? Now open up your eyes. Keep on going.
Okay.
Keep on going. Now close your eyes. What do you feel differently with your eyes closed?
With my eyes closed, I can feel the texture of the sandpaper working into the paint. It sounds crazy, but it's...
Okay, so continue that with your eyes open. Don't think, just react, like you're driving a car. Or a discipline that it's a lot of discipline here. It's like any other craft, whether it's karate or a go-kart or a race car or anything like that. It's a true feel, and you can change what's going on with every pass. You have the control every pass you do. Okay, let's wipe it off, check our progress. How did that feel?
As soon as you told me to close my eyes, it was like it felt like a hallelujah moment to me.
Okay.
I felt like I had eyeballs on the end of the sandpaper.
Okay.
It was a crazy thing.
Okay. Now, how does that look compared to the last grit? It's much shinier, right? More
It's much
reflective.
shinier, but it looks like the pattern looks pretty good.
Yeah, pretty consistent. Yeah.
So what do we do now? That's still scary to me.
Now,
To the person out there, right? This doesn't look good.
Yeah. Well, we can remove the scratches now.
What about this outside stuff? Is this 1500 still?
No, that should be 3000 because we look at the color, look at the depth of the scratch. That's pretty consistent. Okay.
One thing that I think Ivan mentioned the other day is that based on the grit, he'll go a different direction. So if it's a this direction scratch, it was 1500, or if it's this, it's 3000. Can that be helpful for beginners?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So let's do that. Let's crisscross it and only sand right to here, and you'll be able to see a difference. So go ahead and dunk your thing into the bucket.
Yeah, how often are you dunking?
Often, or I use a spray bottle of water in it, or a little bit of soap or rinseless wash, and I'll just spray as I go along too. So this is a little, but the bucket method, it's a little more controlled.
Okay.
And
so I don't want the block outside of the paper, I want it in?
You want it in, yep.
I can't remember how I used to do it, but I think it was, okay, I'm listening to you. I'm like, where did I learn that from? Who knows? Now we're going this way?
Okay, so now this is going to be a little awkward, but we want to go just like that.
Do you have a hand you prefer to sand with?
Well,
No.
I only have one that works, so my left hand, yeah. I love that people are like, do you think you'd be left-handed or right-handed? I'm like, I don't have a choice. I don't know.
So now, what direction? So am I leading with?
Okay.
If I'm right-handed.
Okay. Let's say this is a map. Let's say this is Arizona, New York, Florida, Washington.
Okay.
We want to keep the block horizontal, straight through the. We're somewhere in here. We're Omaha, right?
Okay.
So we want to keep that straight line look, but we want to go just like that.
So we want to go like California to New York?
Yeah. Just like that. Just very small movements. Really no weight on the block at all. It's really letting the support of the paper or disc we're using through the block, and just letting the paper do the work. Let's wipe it off, check our progress. Now, our scratch pattern is going to look different just because we've changed directions.
And it's so interesting because where we didn't sand 1500, it's pretty faint. Like it doesn't feel like you're even doing all that much on these edges.
No, we're just refining that scratch pattern.
Okay.
Okay.
So is that enough?
Yeah, that looks good. Let's continue this area right here.
Okay. So California to
New York, if that's what you want to go.
Okay. And then I feel like this is different than, you want me to stay horizontal like this?
Yeah.
Why?
Because you have more control that way.
So I have less control. This feels right.
I know. But you have more chances of creating marks that we don't want.
Like with this leading edge?
Yeah.
Because that's what I want to do.
Because what happens, right, with a polisher too, if you get outside your work area, you tilt either front or back. So sanding now is amplified.
Okay. And there's this bucket here. I'm going to move that.
Let's move the bucket.
So I can feel totally. And then, so every time I sand, I want to be doing it kind of like that?
Yeah.
Okay. And how are my fingers? Is that?
Well, remember, we want to avoid the pressure points as much as we can.
So I'm sanding like this with my elbow?
It's kind of awkward, yeah. But
okay.
Just get comfortable with it. And
this doesn't feel comfortable at all.
Okay. No, it's not. It's not fun.
It's not fun?
Well, for me, it's not. It's a lot of hard work, but it's rewarding work if this is the route you want to go.
My thumb's on there. I just feel very awkward. I don't know if it's like...
Well, because, try going from here to here.
Like this?
Yeah, go. Yeah.
Like this. Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Feels out of... I just feel like it's out of my... Doesn't feel comfortable.
Okay.
Would I want to be over here, maybe?
Try to get in a position where you're comfortable.
Okay.
Because being comfortable is everything, right?
Okay, so I would feel more comfortable.
New York to Arizona.
What did we do over here? It was like more of this, wasn't it?
It was like this first, and then I switched to like this.
Okay. All right, so like this?
Yeah.
All right.
Go slow. Keep your elbow tight to your body.
Elbow tight to the body?
And just do small passes.
It's just, I give up. I quit.
It's tough.
I defer to you.
And that's why sanding is not, you just explored why we don't teach sanding to everybody. Because it is very difficult. To the people that understand it and know it and do it, it looks easy. This is a very hard task.
Like this feel, and I'm not telling you you're wrong.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is the way that I would do it because I don't feel comfortable with it. It'd be like this.
Okay, let's do that then.
And am I digging in there?
Maybe, we'll see when you wipe it off.
Okay.
Does it feel like you're digging in? Listen to the pressure as it goes here to here. Tell me what you're feeling. Let's talk through it. This is a counseling session.
I don't even know what I'm feeling, Jason. That's the difference. It's like eyes closed again?
Eyes closed, try that. Better, worse, or the same?
It just doesn't feel like it's digging in very much.
Okay,
it feels like I've got a lot of liquid.
Remember, it's a very high grit. So it's not meant to dig in. It's meant to just get the marks out. This is a very high level grit of sanding, so it's not gonna, it's completely different technology from the paper. So we're not gonna see a massive difference.
I'm just humbled by how much harder that was to do it in a way that I didn't.
And you were in a small area. Remember, when we do show cars, it's every nook, every cranny.
That's wild. So what were you hearing? What do you see?
I heard the pressure. Here was good. As you got out here, you could hear I could hear the pressure get more intense.
Yeah, I felt it felt weird on the edges at the end of my passes.
Mm-hmm. Now you want to try something more difficult?
Yeah, because obviously I mastered this.
Try the big boy block.
Okay.
Now we have no flex at all. No flex. So this is really gonna increase your sensitivity.
Okay.
Because of the lack of flex.
So when would you use this? Just when it feels like it works well on the panel, or are you going from something would this be a little bit more aggressive than that one?
Oh yeah.
All the above?
More aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be, we're using like a gold standard, your purple wool pad.
Okay.
That's what this
versus
would be. Yeah.
Okay. And now let me try that.
Yeah.
You wanted me out like this? With elbow tight?
Try it.
What was that? Here, elbow tight?
Yeah.
Like that?
It feels firmer.
I actually like it better.
Okay.
Don't feel like I have more control, actually.
You do have more control.
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know what I'm feeling.
That's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
That's just like, this takes time to develop a feel for it.
It does, and that's not why it's meant for a very select few of people that have gone down the rabbit hole, and this rabbit hole doesn't stop. It's a black hole that never ends.
Which is why there's so much beauty in a simple system like what we teach.
Yes.
You know, but we know there's people who want to see what else is down there.
But you know, what would be interesting is polish this area that's scratched within your complete system. Most people wouldn't even see a difference. I mean, that's just being honest.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, why would I go this route when the average person does even see a difference? We're not doing this is not just a small scratch we've done. Now we've done a larger area. So.
And I mean, at this point, if you were just going after a scratch, there's no way you'd go this big, right?
No, that defeats the purpose.
What was I doing over there? How was that?
You tell me.
That felt better. Okay. It looks pretty even.
Yeah. But see, it's a little more, see the color difference here and here? It's a little bit darker here, and it's a little bit lighter here.
Shinier here.
Yeah, shinier.
Yeah.
So that means it's more reflective, so the scratch pattern is a little bit less.
This feels like it would have done a better job at cleaning up if I was more aggressive on 1500 with the firmer. But then how much harder is this going to be to get out than this?
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
So what we do is we clean our area, we panel prep the area.
Okay.
When we get ready for polishing. So now this is the time to kind of take a deep breath, right?
Really?
We've just sanded, okay?
Okay.
Now we have to take our scratches. Putting scratches in is easy. Right. Getting the scratches out so it doesn't look like you put scratches in is the hard part.
Okay.
Because we intentionally put scratches in to remove a defect or a scratch. So now we have to remove that scratch. That's the hard part.
One more time. I'm leading with this edge
as
opposed to like this. I just wanted to, like, for people at home, like, can you show that again?
Okay. So if you're sanding this way, it's like this. If I'm sanding this way and crisscrossing my scratches, it's Same pattern, I just literally rotate the block.
And where are your fingers?
Okay, my fingers, you don't want finger pressure necessarily. I'm just supporting the block. The block should support the panel.
So it starts with, like you said, figuring out which block best feels right on the panel.
Or the shape that you're sanding, because all panels have shape to them.
Yes.
Front to back, side to side. So it's picking the best block for the shape or panel that you're sanding.
So you may have the wrong block out there and not realize why your sanding marks are maybe not what you want them to be. Okay, and that's why you make these blocks.
Yeah. Yeah.
You offer different custom blocks?
I do.
If folks reach out to you on Instagram?
I do.
Jason Killmer,
I
2
make
Ls.
all types of blocks, from large body blocks to very tiny blocks that are tiny, tiny, tiny.
And if someone out there what's the most, I don't know, recommended blocks? Like something this small?
Yeah, this is about a 4-inch block by about a 1-inch wide. This is suitable. I was part of KXK. We had what we called the Rid Stick, and that the smaller block is a little more approachable for people. It's not so intimidating.
That's what I was used to,
It's like your DIY system. It's not intimidating at all. So it's easy, it's simple. With sanding, a smaller block, very bite size, pick a scratch, improve it. Sand to improve, not remove. If you can improve it, that's a success.
Absolutely.
So, we're all about small wins, right?
Yep.
And this is a very tough job. It's very physical, it's very mental. And so it's about small wins when you're learning the craft, and it is a craft.
Yep. Okay. So I asked you that, and then I said, I got us off track. But you were talking about what we do after we sand, and it's take a deep breath.
Take a deep breath.
These are easy to inflict. Now it's refining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part, really.
With the gold standard system, it can be done.
Yeah.
All right, so what would you reach for? I know that we teach cut with a DA, finish with a rotary. You do whatever the heck you want because you're Jason Killmer.
I have tinkered with your system.
That's what you do, right? You tinker?
Yeah, I tinker.
Yeah.
I want to see what it's capable of doing. I know why you designed it. You and Ivan designed it. I know the limit. I know the parameters, but I go outside the parameters because that's what I do.
Yep.
I personally like the rotary and the wool pad with their gold standard polish, and let's see what it'll do.
Let's rock and roll. I'm sure no one has ever tried to do something outside of the instructions in the history of mankind. So.
Well, that's what makes the industry, right? That's what involves, makes the industry go round. We're going to use a rotary, the gold standard. What pad is this called again?
This is our gold standard wool cutting pad. Yeah.
Okay. Start at speed 1. I'm not fighting it, I'm just nice and relaxed. I put a little bit of pressure on the head of the machine and the back.
You're not hammering down, are you?
No pressure at all. Again, I'm just guiding the tool. And go ahead and feel the paint surface. How is that for heat control?
Fairly warm.
Okay. Now I'll put a little more pressure on it.
Why?
Just if it feels comfortable, I'm just, a little more power. And again, I'm at speed 2, so within reason. And I'm just relaxed. I'm just super relaxed.
Are you looking through the polish to see the scratch pattern?
Well, that is the beauty of this polish, and also a detriment to this polish is it's working time when you're trying to look through it. It's so user-friendly that sometimes you have to wipe it off and check.
All right, well, we need to rinse and stamp a towel for that. Let me grab one.
And Nick, one time I cycled the polish out for 40 minutes.
You cycled gold standard polish for 40 minutes? Are you kidding? Wow.
Okay, do we happen to have that spotlight to check our work?
Yeah. Dry buff here.
Okay, we still have some work there. We see this, we got it over here.
So what are you seeing?
A couple of, 3,000 grit scratches right there. See how it's a little dull? Right in here, right in this area. Somewhere
Okay,
here.
yep.
Okay? But let's try let's do the DA now. When we have a 5-inch plate on this, again, staying within my body. Okay, let's check our progress. And that was pretty controlled. That was
the light that I tried to get the magnet to work.
You knocked it over.
Oh, I just hit it over, yeah.
Okay, well, let's check our progress. What do you think? It's gonna look a little bit better?
I think so. I feel like, did the sandpaper get to every defect in there?
I don't know. See, we're getting it. We're getting it.
Still see some sanding marks down there.
And I didn't really work that area. I focus on one area. Now I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm just gonna spray right on the panel.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
What are you up to over there?
Oh boy. Okay. I'm gonna put you to work.
Okay.
I'm gonna have you be my light guide.
Okay, where do you want it?
Just right there. That way I can really see through the polish with the light. That way it kind of takes the guesswork out of it. How does that look, Nick, from your vantage point?
Pretty good. Is that what I'm supposed to say? I don't know. I can't quite see it from where. Now the paint got a little warm there.
Okay, it did. It did get a little warm.
You and the KXK boys, or maybe it was yours saying from back. I just hammer down.
Hammer down.
So,
no, that's all me.
So you create heat. Well, we don't teach that system. So what?
Heat is a byproduct.
Okay.
Unfortunately, but it's still a byproduct. So I'm very controlled still, but by doing that technique, it's not hot.
That's not hot.
It's within, I would say it's within reason. I didn't spike the panel temperature.
No, I've spiked up temperature way worse than that, not knowing what I was doing.
Yeah. But I was able to effectively remove a lot of what we created. Now, let's move the light from here where we kind of sanded it. Let's move it down here. In that light, that square light, if you look on the outer edges of the light, and you go over here, you see the peel on the outer edges.
Orange peel?
Yeah. You use a...
Oh, I see that now.
See the difference?
Did we remove texture or?
Yeah, a little bit, Yeah.
Wow.
So it's more reflective.
Way more reflective.
And the color is going to be richer and deeper.
Outside especially, you'll notice it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What about this process have you not explained? I was thinking like, maybe there's a small scratch that really bothers someone at home.
Okay.
And that was a really big area, but what if we just said there's a scratch? Like,
Yeah.
we could arbitrarily create one, or we could just say an area.
Do we have something sharp we can create?
You tell me, what's a...
Something, a blunt object.
Okay. Can we key this panel?
Let's do it.
I've never keyed paint before.
Okay.
Where am I doing this?
Wherever, somewhere in here.
Like how much?
Just a little bit. Okay. That's pretty deep, but we will see what we can do.
So right now we're talking about someone having keyed your paint, whether it's with a knife or a real key. It looks all the way down through the clear. I see white. We might be able to make this look better.
Okay, yeah. And so what I would do there, I don't think we're gonna remove it because it's too far gone. So what I like to do is I start outside and work my way in. Just make a couple passes. No pressure. Okay.
What grit?
This was 15.
1500 grit.
Okay, now we can clearly see that it's too deep. Okay, now
So that's a real vengeful act.
yeah,
right
that's
there.
a vengeful act. You know, you made someone really upset. So now this is a good time for touch-up paint, where you take like a matchstick or something, get your factory touch-up paint, and just dab it in there. Let it dry. Take a little bit of 3000 grit sandpaper and just lightly hit it, and then buff it out from there.
So compound polish from there.
Yeah.
All right. How about a lighter scratch?
If we can do a lighter scratch, that would be ideal.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I have a ceramic blade here.
Okay.
Less pressure, I guess.
Less pressure.
Okay, that's one where it's like kind of deep through somewhere, and then.
Yeah, that's pretty deep too.
Okay.
That's okay.
I've never done this before, but I'm
okay.
getting
That's
practice, so
okay.
watch out.
Again, light pressure. We're gonna wipe it off. Now, if you look at here, see it's improved.
Yep.
See that? So that's what I would consider a respectable win.
Can we refine that and see what it actually looks like?
Yeah, let's leave it right there. I'll take the 3000 grit, and I'm actually going to do something a little bit different here. I'm just going to use that.
So you folded it over like that?
Yeah.
Same direction, fine?
Yep. In this case, I am.
And you got that sandpaper really wet. Do you like it that wet?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Okay. See the difference?
Oh yeah, because it started all the way out
It's
here.
still there, but I got rid of a lot of that white.
Yeah.
So no touch-up, no body shop. That would be an acceptable. I would be happy with that.
And then can you compound that out and show us what that looks like?
Yeah, we can. Again, I'm a rebel, so I didn't wash it. I just put polish on it.
This is the Killmer method.
Yeah, kill me. Again, I'm not straining. I'm really comfortable.
What speed are you on?
Speed 3. And nothing better than having a balance tool, a balance pad. It's super comfortable. I'm not straining, I'm not fighting it. I have really good control. And when you have good control, you're gonna have good success. can see I'm working a larger area. I'm just trying to dissipate some of that heat. That's not much. It's warm, but it's under control.
Why are you polishing so much even though the scratch is over there?
Well, I want to blend it out. I want to blend it out, blend the scratches out so it's not so obvious. Now, we can see our scratches.
So do we need a feather?
Right. The scratch,
oh, this was from before. We didn't go after that.
That was the crazy scratch. This is the scratch that you created after, and it looks considerably better.
And this is the side we didn't sand, right?
Exactly.
And this is where we did sand.
Yep.
And when you compound it out, you compounded out the sand marks, leaving this originally with a little bit of, rotary polishing to make it kind of shiny with the scratch. Mm-hmm. So to everybody who was not looking for this, they would never see that.
Exactly. And
so that's how you do it.
That's a win. That's a win because the average person isn't going to see it.
I don't see it.
If we get rid of the white in the scratch, because clear coat when it's scratched is white. If you look at clear in a can or a bucket when it's mixed, it has a yellow hue to it. When it's scratched, it's white. When you dry sand it, you've been to Rupes and dry sanded, what color is the clear? The dust.
Real milky white?
It's real milky white, exactly. So we get rid of the white in the scratch. The scratch might still be there, but it's acceptable. I didn't go to a body shop. I didn't have to wait. I didn't get overspray. I didn't get all the things that possibly could happen from a body shop. That's a win.
Oh yeah, because when you take your car to the body shop, they're gonna spray an area and they're gonna get overspray everywhere and they may not clay that off. Then you got all this speckles everywhere and then you gotta call a detailer, right? Unless you're watching our channel and then you can, you know the tools to use. But yeah, I mean, this is something that feels very doable for the serious enthusiast, I would say.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it's great. What do you think?
I think I learned some things today.
Okay.
I learned enough to still be nervous.
And you should have a healthy respect because you are taking sandpaper to a car.
And that
it's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody.
It's not for everybody. And don't feel ashamed if you feel a little uncomfortable. You should feel a little uncomfortable. If you feel a little too comfortable, that's when mistakes happen.
I think we're going to end it there. And I think if you found value in this, please subscribe to the channel. Go message Jason Killmer on Instagram. Say I want some of those amazing blocks. And if you want to keep watching some amazing content with this video with Jason, check that out.